Welcome back. This is 2.5, modeling using variation. So our objectives are solve direct variation problems, solve inverse variation problems, and solve combined variation problems. All right, direct variation. If a situation is described by an equation in the form y equals kx, where k is a non-zero constant, we say that y varies directly as x. The number k is called the constant variation. All right, solving a direct variation problem. So it says the volume of blood B in a person's body varies directly body weight W. A person who weighs 160 pounds has approximately 5 quarts of blood. Estimate number of quarts of blood in a person who weighs 200 pounds. So we have y equals kx. So B is going to be y and x is going to be w. So then we replace them with what we already know for the 60 and 5, or 160 and 5. So 5 is the volume of blood equals k times 160 for the body weight. So it's 5 equals 160k. So we're solving for k, so divide each by 160. So you do 5 divided by 160. And to turn it into a fraction, remember we do math, 1, enter. So we get 1 over 32. So k equals 1 over 32. So now, to find what it is for 200 pounds, we want to find the quarts of blood. So we don't know what B is. And then we substitute K and the 200. So 1 over 32 times 200. So B is going to equal, so we do 1 divided by 32 times 200. So we get 6.25. I'm not sure if it's going to ask for fractions or decimals, so we'll do both. So 6.25 quarts. Usually if it's a measurement, they want decimals. Quarts. Blood. Or 25 over 4. All right. The next one, it says y varies directly as the nth power of x. If there exists some non-zero constant k such that y equals k to the n power. So it says, solving for a direct variation problem. So it says the distance s that a body falls from rest varies directly as the square of time, t, of the fall. If the skydivers fall 64 feet in 2 seconds, so remember this is distance and time, how far will they fall in 4.5 seconds? So that will be your new t. And then we want to find the s of the new equation. So first we're going to use what we have to find what k is. So remember y is s. So 64 equals k times, and then t is x. So 2 squared. So 64 equals k times 4. Then we're going to divide each side by 4. And we get 16 equals k. If you didn't know all of that, you can do 2 squared. You get 4. Oh, didn't do that. And then 64, it's not liking my typing. 64 divided by 4 is 16. All right, so then K is 16, and then we're using the new 4.5 seconds as our time, and we're solving for S. So S equals 16 times 4.5 seconds. So 16 times 4.5, we get 72. So 72, and then remember it was in feet, so feet is our units. All right, inverse variation. So if a situation is described by an equation in the form y equals k over x, where k is a non-zero constant, we say that y varies inversely as x. The number k is called the constant variation, so same as it has been. All right. If the temperature is constant, the pressure P of gas in a container varies inversely as the volume V of the container. The pressure of a gas sample in a container whose volume is 8 cubic inches is 12 pounds per square inch. If the sample expands to a volume of 22 cubic inches, what is the new pressure of gas? So, P is the pressure, and V is the volume. So it says volume is 8 cubic, and that's the hint too. Cubic is volume because volume is like to the third power when we're solving. So volume, and then P is the pressure, so 12. So now we want to find K. So P equals K over V because it's varying inversely for volume. So that's why volume is dividing by. So pressure is 12 equals K over 8. When we're solving with fractions, remember you just multiply by the denominator to each side. So this cancels. So 8 times 12 is going to be 96, and it's going to equal K. So remember, you can do 8 times 12 in your calculator, and you'll get that 96. All right, now we're going to solve for the new pressure using that 22 cubic inches for the volume. So we don't know what P is, and we're going to equal it to 96 over 22. So 96 divided by 22, we get 4.3636, so it's a repeating. So 48 over 11. So P equals 48 over 11, or 4.36. And then if it asks you for decimals, it should tell you what decimal it rounds it to. And then since it's pressure, so pounds per square inch. All right, the next is combined variation. So direct and inverse variation occur at the same time. So you're doing that multiple thing together. When you're combining those two, it will be y equals x times k, or let's do k first because that's how it's been, k, x, and then over z. All right, because they'll be combined. So, because you'll do multiplication and division at the same time. That's what the combination of those mean, is that you're combining that direct and inverse variation together. All right. The owners of Rollerblades Plus determined that the monthly sales S of its skates vary directly as its advertising budget A, and inversely as the price of the skates P. When 60,000, so directly is the multiplication, so that's X, and then inversely is going to be our Z. So when 60,000 is spent on advertising, and the price of the skates is $40, the monthly sales are 12,000 pairs of rollerblades. So this is your P, price of skates. And then advertising budget is 60,000. So that's going to be your A. And then your Y is your monthly sales. So it's going to be 12,000. So now it's going to be S or Y. So your sales equals K times your budget, so advertising, over P for the purchase price. All right, so 12,000 equals K times A, so 60,000 divided by 40. So 60,000 divided by 40 is 1,500. So just to get rid of that fraction, so you can do that 60, 1, 2, 3, divided by 40, we get 1,500. Then we divide each side by 1,500. So 1, 2, 1,500. We get 8. So K equals 8. All right. So determine monthly sales if the amount of the advertising budget is increased to 70,000. So it would be 12,000. Oh, monthly sales. So we don't know what S is. So S equals, K is 8, times the budget, so 70,000 divided by $40, because the purchase price of the skates did not change. So then you just put it in your calculator. So 8 times 70,000 divided by 40. So we get 14,000 as the monthly sales. Oh, 12,000 of rollerblades. So they sell 14,000 pairs of rollerblades. All right, and that is it for 2.5. Go ahead and work on your assignment and let me know if you have any questions.